mean, it just was a really traumatic thing for a little eighth grade girl. She went to high school and took gas.
My land. Well, you only have one.
Yeah, it's just my left.
In your right hand.
Yeah.
But there's some kind of lesson there for all of us, something about getting older, I think.
Move your bedroom
You
downstairs.
need to have a one-story house.
Yeah, there's several.
Your house looks nice where they got it painted.
We're trying, we're trying to get it done.
Looks good. 6 o'clock. Well, there we are. Stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we'll call the senior meeting to order. And do you want to do this now before we do the consent agenda? Okay, we have a proclamation this evening and we have a guest here, so. This is actually Constitution Week. I'll read this now, okay? Okay, September 17, 2021 marks the 224th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. It is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. I, Artie Stuville, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Paola, in the city of Paola, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th to the 23rd as Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through the discarding of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. You are right.
You're gonna sign that?
Yes, I will.
I do have a constitutional minute. I don't know if you'd allow me to read it.
Sure, if you'll wait just 1 second. Okay.
Just be a minute. The United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land. We will commemorate 234 years of this document on September 17th. It establishes the basic structure of the federal government and laws for the government to abide by. These laws are listed as the Bill of Rights, which is the founding fathers' first 10 amendments in the Constitution. In 1955, Daughters of the American Revolution petitioned Congress a resolution to observe the Constitution during September 17th to the 23rd. It was passed unanimously by Congress. And on August 2nd, 1956, President Eisenhower signed into Public Law 915 Constitution Week to be observed annually on September 17th to the 23rd. So I ask you to commemorate Constitution Week by flying your flags and reading the Constitution. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. Now you can all tire me. I think I left my agenda at home. I had this all strung out reading it. Oh, no, I do have it. Thank heavens, I thought I was slipping.
Now you got an extra copy.
I don't have an extra copy. But y'all wonder how I get it. I do too. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is items 1A through F. Does any council member have any questions? If not, do we have a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented and authorize the mayor to sign it. I'll second.
Snail,
Aye.
Upshaw,
Aye.
House, Shields,
Aye. Thank you. Move on to comments from the public. Is there anyone here that would like to address the council in regard to anything that's not an agenda item? Please come forward and state your name. Good evening.
My name is Doug Smith. I live at 608 East Peoria here in Paola. Been here since 1998. And I've got a horrible situation with drainage. The property next door to me, 610 East Peoria, had a one-car garage with a concrete driveway in the back and a concrete driveway on East Street. And the contractor has put in a 5-car parking lot in the backyard. Pretty much concreted the whole backyard. And all that water runoff from that concrete drains onto me. 15 feet off the center of the alley, it slopes and goes right into my driveway. And I've spent hundreds of dollars trying to fix it. I've hauled gravel in, I've put pipe in. I had to sandbag my driveway that goes down into my basement because my basement is flooded twice. We've had over 5 inches of rain 3 or 4 different times. And I'm out there fighting to keep the water from going in my basement. And I'm done spending money. I've been down the contractor that did the work. The more he yells, the more he argues, the more he gets his way. He had a application for the city to put the driveway in, and it doesn't say anything on how big it is, where the water is going to drain. There was no assessment done on where that water was going to run off. And I don't know where to go from here. I'm not going to be able to sell my house because I'm going to have to tell whoever's going to buy it that your basement's going to flood. I've got sandbags all the way across, and a heavy rain, it'll go over my sandbags. I got a hole in the bottom of my privacy fence that lets the water go into my backyard. I had to dig a hole under my privacy fence to relieve some of the water that's in my driveway, because my wife goes to work, she goes out and it goes over her shoes. I've got 2 pallets in my backyard where I walk around the house to get to my driveway that I have to walk across to keep from getting in the water. The side yard, I had to dig a trench south to Peoria and take out a block on the block wall and to relieve water that's running off in there. There's so much water coming off this driveway and when the contractor when he bought the place, he knew he couldn't put a gravel driveway in, but he went ahead and did it anyway. And then the city made him come back and put a hard surface driveway in. And I've been down, I've talked to Kirk Reese, I've talked to Bill Trout, and they say nothing has changed over there. I owned that property for 22 years, 610, and I own property 608. When I sold that property to him, I've had nothing but problems. The water was off for over a year, and they used the backyard between the privacy fence, the garage, and a pile of debris as their bathroom. And my wife would go out and get in her car and have to go out there, and there'd be a guy standing there pissing in the backyard. And it's just been nothing but problems. I had to put a padlock on my water spigot because they were coming over and filling their water water jugs out of my faucet. And I work during the nights, I sleep during the days, and the faucet is right by my back bedroom window, and I could hear every time they turn the faucet on. And I went over and talked to them, told them they couldn't do it. They'd come to the door, knocking on the door to get their water glasses filled. When I was not home, they'd ask my wife to fill their water glasses. But this contractor has been nothing but trouble. I don't even know if he has a city permit. I think he works under another person's permit. But I don't know where to go from here. I'm up at nights. Every time it rains, I have to be up to babysit that driveway. That it's to make sure when the leaves blow this fall, all that debris is going to come right over. I put in a drain box in between the property, right where the water comes through, to relieve some of the water, and had to put the pipe at an angle all the way across my driveway so it would get to go down the alley. And when the leaves start falling, all that debris off that driveway is going to come over. It's going to plug up my drain box, and then it's going to go ahead and come down my driveway anyway. And then in the wintertime, when the ice melts, all that water is going to end up coming down my driveway, freezing, and I'm going to have a skating rink in there. And I don't get anywhere when I go down to see Bill Trout or Kurt Reese, and I don't know where to go from here.
Sid, what's your suggestion?
We'll take a look at that. We can't solve that problem tonight, so.
I've invited both of them to come down during the rain and look. I've got hundreds of pictures and videos when I'm out there trying to fight. I've got hours and hours of labor just trying to end trips for parts. And I had a dump truck load of gravel hauled in to try to build that up. Now I have to drive over a big hump to get into my driveway, and the pipe is just barely covered over the gravel. And I'd invite everybody to go down and just look at it, because the drain before, when he put the gravel driveway in, it sloped toward the alley, and I didn't have a problem. But when he put the concrete driveway in, it slopes down like this and then runs right in front of the garage, 15 feet from the center of the alley. It just dumps right into my drive.
We'll see what we can do, and I thank you for coming this evening.
Am I gonna need to come to another city council meeting to see what's gonna be done about it? Because I work nights and I have to take vacation days to come down here.
Well, Sid, do you think we can address this?
We'll take a look at this and determine what we can and can't do and communicate that with you. Whether or not you want to come back to another council meeting, that will be up to you on that decision.
Okay, does anybody want my
I was
information?
gonna say, do we have your phone number, a way to get in touch with you?
Did he sign in?
No.
Sign-
No. I think you want to know.
Oh. I do.
So you're comfortable with
You live in
coming
OA
down?
or 10?
I live in 608.
You live in OA, okay. 10's
I've owned both properties for over 20 years.
I was trying to make notes, I just want to make, so you sold 10, he bought 10, and the water's running back on you on 8.
Yes,
So it's running west.
it's running west, right in front of the garage.
I'll be over. I'll be over.
And it had 2 parking lots there to begin with, or 2 parking spots. And they took out both of those concrete parking spots, and they put a parking lot in the backyard.
I'll come and look at it also.
It looks nice. They've done a nice job. But it's the
I
house.
want to see how big the concrete is in the back.
It's a full backyard because they formed all the vehicles there. There's 5 people at the
But it's so much nicer than the house across the
Couple of
street.
sisters and other side of
Hey, guy.
I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming this evening. Okay, if there's no one else, we'll move on to the public hearing to exceed the revenue neutral rate. We need a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing regarding the revenue neutral rate.
I'll second.
Aye.
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House. Aye. Shields.
Smart. Yes. Yes.
I'm rubbing
I'm
off.
still thinking about that house.
Okay,
Okay, so according to Senate Bill 13, a hearing to exceed the revenue neutral rate must be done, followed by a resolution to exceed it before the budget hearing and adoption of the budget. So right now, we're providing our public comment.
hopefully no one here for comments, so I think we'll move on to a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second. Smale,
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to consider resolution number 2021-017, exceeding the revenue neutral rate.
So the revenue neutral rate is 39.74 mils, and after preparing the budget, we determined 43.39 mils would be necessary for the budget that we proposed to the council. And this just allows us to exceed that. Should we not pass this resolution, we would have, and we exceed the revenue neutral rate, we would have to pay back any money that was collected over that mill rate.
And our previous mill is 43.381.
Yes.
Is that right?
Is there any questions from any council member in regard to this? Not, do we have a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2021-017, exceeding the revenue neutral rate.
I'll second.
Smale,
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now we have to do the public hearing for and the adoption of the proposed 2022 Paola City budget. We need a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing on the proposed 2022 Paola City budget.
I'll second it.
Smale,
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
Okay. You need to present this. Okay, so now we need a motion to close the public hearing. Oh, we're done.
Sorry.
Take the steps.
We gotta do it.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Smale,
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
Okay.
Almost
Almost done.
Right?
Almost getting there. Okay,
Turn to
consider
state
adoption of the 2022 budget.
Yeah, so the proposed budget is $13,990,593 with a mill levy of 43.390.
Is there any questions any council member has in regard to this? Not, do we have a motion to adopt the city budget?
Make a motion to adopt the 2022 Paola City budget in the amount of $13,990,593 pursuant to the notice of budget hearing published in the Miami County Republic on September 1st, 2021, and authorize the necessary signatures.
I'll second.
Smale,
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
2,000 didn't sound bad.
No, I corrected that very quickly.
Yeah.
That's not making us much.
We could probably drop that bill.
So before you leave tonight, if you could sign the budget page, so I could get that submitted tomorrow to the county. I'd appreciate that.
Okay, move on to new business, which is consider resolution 2021-018 for the water system emergency response plan review.
So the City of Paola Water System Emergency Response Plan was initially adopted in 2019 as part of our ongoing compliance with KDHE. The plan must be reviewed annually. A copy of that updated plan was provided to council in the packet. And it was just basically updating contact information and personnel information. And resolution 2021-018 has been prepared for council and serves to formally approve these updates to the ERP.
There's certainly a lot of information in here, wasn't there?
Yep.
Yeah. Anyone have any questions in regard to this? If not, do we have a motion to approve this resolution?
I move to approve resolution 2021-018, City of Paola Water System Emergency Response Plan, and authorize the necessary signatures.
I'll second.
Snail,
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
Thank you. Move on to ordinance number 3179, which is renewal of the housing incentive program. How many years have we done this? Probably says in here.
I think it was originally, there was some incentive plan in 2017 and into 18 and then in 19. Council approved this, what this plan really looks like now.
Right, the tiered
Because
structure.
it used to be any, yeah.
Right. So actually, our first one was 2017.
So in the last year, we've had 10 houses qualify for the new housing construction incentive program. Based on that tiered structure of the program, the corresponding fee reduction, the city of Paola has, in a sense, forgiven $42,433.09 in building permit, plan review, water connection, and sewer connection fees. The current plan is set to expire September 30th. And as I said, this kind of offers the tiers are shown in the packet where kind of breaks down. There's more incentives for houses between 100 and 200,000, and then they get a little bit less between 200,000 and 300,000 and 300,000 and above. And basically, Ordinance 3179 has been prepared to renew this housing incentive program for another year.
Any council member have any questions in regard to this?
No, I think it's a great program.
I remember there was a couple that came last year that was going to build a house and they talked about how much this helped them make that decision. So I think it is a plus.
It really helps.
Well, it does. That's true. Okay, do we have a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 3179 for new housing construction incentive program and authorize the necessary signatures.
I'll second.
Snail,
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Lake Myola Water Quality Monitoring Program.
With its proximity to the agricultural land, concerns over the current and future water quality at Lake Myola have been expressed. And in an effort to kind of address those concerns, we have visited with KDHE, and that kind of led us to a conversation with the Kansas Biological Survey. And through that, then developed this proposed scope of work to implement a kind of water quality monitoring program at Lake Myola. As proposed, this water quality monitoring program would provide a comprehensive evaluation of the lake's water quality, and that would be throughout the primary contact season of 2022, which is April through October. Additionally, KBS would do kind of a compilation of some of the historical data that they could get from KDHE sites about the lake and kind of put all that into analysis for us. And ultimately, this kind of creates then a good baseline for if we need to do some future monitoring activities at the lake.
Can we do those ourselves if we get all this information?
The future ones,
Like we send in water samples now, is there any way you could?
we could potentially do that. I think as we look at, because there can be kind of connected to some, there are environmental requirements of how you take a sample like that. Sometimes it's, and that's why we're kind of interested in having Kansas Biological Survey do that, is that they're trained and they do this all the time rather than our guys who would maybe just do it once a quarter. And so there is a possibility that we could do it, but it's kind of nice to have a third party being able to do that because we can kind of rely on their expertise to make sure the sample's collected.
So how often and how long are they gonna be taking samples and doing this?
So I think it's set up that they would be out there monthly to collect samples from the lake and the one around the beach and one around the inflow, or the two inflow areas designated on in the proposal. And then they would also try to take get some rain event sampling. So when we would have rain, being able to come down, especially in those inflow areas, to understand what we have coming in and how that might impact the water quality. And then also just one time trying to get a kind of an organic panel, which that mostly is trying to look at, okay, do you have runoff from fertilizers and herbicides and pesticides and stuff like that.
We get a baseline and they compare.
Well, so this would help establish kind of a baseline, like, hey, we've had a year of monitoring. And then so if we say, maybe what we want to do in 2023 is, rather than doing it kind of monthly, we do it more of a, hey, we're going to try to get 2 sampling events in the year. And so then we can kind of be able to have something to compare back to.
So they're starting September of this year, right?
They would start, that date has been moved because of the timeline and I think some of their workload. And to get the price down around that $25,000 range, because if we wanted to have having them do the kind of the historical data compilation and analysis was going to raise the price a little bit. And also the organic sampling wasn't in our, when we were kind of looking at it initially. So we moved that down so there wouldn't be a September or October sampling like this year, but next year, April through October, plus the organic, plus the rain event.
So it's April
Through October.
2022 through December of 2022.
Yeah, but the sampling would just basically be April through October. Then they would have a report due to us by the end of the year.
Will they give you little updates after each one to tell you any information?
Yeah, and that's, I mean, part of that is if they take some samples and we've got things that are concerning, then we have to take a step back, figure out what we need to do, and then go from there. But so yeah, we'll have regular updates. Good.
So they're not gonna start till next April.
Right. I think they're going to plan on starting doing some of that data compilation. Probably my assumption would be they would do that after October of this year, because that's kind of their slow period. They can get that kind of work done. And so then we're trying to get to April, because they're doing this kind of work at different lakes across the state. So I think when it gets into the prime season, they get pretty busy with sampling. And just a formality, this is technically done through the University of Kansas Center for Research. They're the Kansas Biological Survey is connected to KU, and then this, the Center for Research is the one who kind of does the contracting for KBS.
I'm interested to see what they find out there.
Yeah.
And where are we allocating the funds from?
That'll come from the Special Parks Fund.
Okay, is there any other questions? If not, do we have a motion for approval?
I move to approve the University of Kansas Center for Research Incorporated sponsored research agreement for the monitoring water quality in Lake Myola, Kansas program for $25,991 and authorize the necessary signatures.
Second.
Snail,
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House. Aye. Shields.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The demolition award for 401 East Cascade.
Yes, ma'am. So to summarize the background a little bit, I know we've all been, this has been a long haul. So this year in 2021, on May 11th, the city council set the public hearing to hear the condemnation of the property. On July 13th, a public hearing was conducted and the city council passed the resolution condemning the property and giving the day of August 10th to have the property demolished or properly secured. At the August 10th meeting, came and gone and no movement has been done. So the city council gave the staff the direction to proceed with soliciting bids from a private contractor to demolish the condemned property. The property owner did come in and get a building permit on August 18th to do the demolition. No movement has been done yet. According to our municipal code, demolition permits expire after 60 days. So October 18th is when the permit will be expired. So for the bids, we sent to 5 local already licensed contractors with us that we have the list of the city, as well as on our city website. It was open from August 18th to September 3rd, and we received the 3 bids below. Gowing Construction, $9,250, GB Construction, $10,000, and Denton Excavation was $18,860. The lowest bid is Gowing Construction for the demolition of the 2-story primary structure and the garage at 401 East Kaskaskia. The bids submitted were good for 60 days. And although we have solicited bids, we have communicated with the contractor that just as soon as we award the bid does not mean they can go ahead and move forward. They have to wait till that date. That's gonna be the drop dead date. Let's see here. We will continue to communicate with the property owner that has a demolition permit to see if they are gonna move forward and do it themselves. Due to the fact that this is not a budgeted item, this will have to come out of probably our general fund. So if they can end up doing it themselves and we don't have to pay it and make them pay us back on the property tax rules, that will be the best solution for everybody. And I think that is all I have. If you have any questions.
Do they have the option if we go through with the demolition, do they have the option of paying us directly? Or does it just go to the property tax and it gets paid that way?
That's a good question. I've never had that, but I can do.
I mean, I would think,
Yeah,
They
I
would
don't think we
probably-
turned down.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
if they came to us with that check for that, we'd probably say, okay, we'll put it on tax rolls.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can.
Why get up front rather than,
Have you heard anything from the owners in regard to, I know you said they got a permit for demolition, but that they,
I have not as of recently. I will be following up though after this meeting to tell them what's going on and see if they're timely. Absolutely.
So they still have till October 18th is everything.
So you're gonna award the bid tonight, but not let them start until after the homeowners expires on October 18th.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
When someone demos a property, they remove everything as well. All the stuff they take down. They remove.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and then they'll regrade the property.
Okay.
They plan on leaving like trees, but if they can, but
Yeah.
they'll take down the structures and remove the debris.
Will they have to bring in dirt to fill in the, I know there's no, well, there is a partial basement there. Do they have to bring dirt in?
They will, if they need to,
To
be
level
able- if they need to be able to grade the property back, yes. But I don't think they'll know that until they have it all down.
any other questions? If not, do we have a motion to approve the bid for Gowing Construction?
I'll make a motion to award the demolition bid for 401 East Kaskaskia to Gowing Construction in the amount of $9,250 on or after October 18th and authorize the necessary signatures.
I'll second that.
Snell,
Aye.
Upshaw,
Aye.
House.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
Thank you. Move on to Communication Shelter Design Build Award for the fire department.
So as part of the 2021 budget, fire department included funding to update the communication shelter at the Oak Street Water Tower. An RFP was for design build services, was distributed to local contractors and advertised on the city's website. And 2 proposals were received by the September 1 deadline. After reviewing the proposals and clarifying some items and evaluating the proposals for the best value for the investment, Staff feels that the proposal from Triangle Builders most closely aligns with the RFP and provides a larger, more efficient, energy efficient building and represents the best value that serves the city of Paola's interests. As part of this, Andy's here to, if there's some questions on the specifics of the building. I think it was an old metal building that's seen better days and has spray foam on the outside of it that gets ate up by the woodpeckers. And this is to try to get a very stout building that would last us a long time and would be energy efficient and allow for control of the temperature inside so that the sensitive radio equipment isn't impacted, and also provides some grounding protection for the electronics that are inside there too. So, and all the tough questions go to Andy.
Chief Martin. We've got one-page proposals for spending 70 to
Oh.
95.
Hey, you're not telling me anything. I thought when I did the RFP that we put there's plenty of money for that, but I got a rude awakening when we started talking to contractors, because they were talking like, well, there's not enough funding here.
Why is it so high?
Well,
Yeah.
I think part of it was my problem with the RFP was that I wrote in, which was kind of considered communication standard for shelters, is 150-mile-an-hour wind standard. We corrected that to 100-mile-an-hour standard when we figured out the antennas on the tower were only rated 100 mile an hour, so they'll get wiped off and then we'll have a building to run. And then we also worked on changing some of the specs for we had it originally in there to the Motorola R56 standard, which is a standard for bonding and grounding, and it's pretty extensive for communications stuff. It's got a buried copper line that goes around it and ground rods and everything's bonded to that. And then that's even bonded to the tower. We did reduce some of that to try to save some costs, but we do want to protect the equipment in there. So we still did a halo ground inside the building. And there's still a ground that goes around that's attached to all the rebar in the building too. So we tried to cut, trim as much as we could. Rob took a little bit more out than what we really wanted as far as to keep it as at that RFP standard. But Triangles gave us pretty much all that and kept the building the same size. And I was shocked too, but it does have 100 amp service entrance, which is just like, building a house, you do the same thing. So some of the stuff in it is the same stuff you'd have to build for a full-size building. I agree, I was shocked at the price. I was.
And I figured there was some explanation on why, but it just,
Yeah.
looking at those proposals, just seemed outrageous.
Oh, I can't argue more. I can't disagree about that one bit.
So basically it'll stand up to a minor tornado.
Yeah, I would say it's designed for 100-mile-an-hour standard. I know the Triangle building, it's a IPF foam with an 8-inch concrete wall on a slab with a 8-inch roof. I mean, it's a concrete pillbox. And then it's got a rigidized door that goes in. That's kind of like a jail door. I mean, it'll take ice off the top of the tower and stuff like that. Now, it might knock the power out, it might crush the generator, which is not inside. But it also includes a generator. I didn't put
A
that
new
in.
generator?
Yeah, there's a new generator set. Pretty much everything's new. It's got 2 AC units, and they're basically window air conditioner heaters.
And it's alarmed, I'm assuming?
No,
Oh, it's not?
we've never had an alarm in there. We don't have a comm line in there anymore. We used to, and you remember those days, was when we transmitted here, it went through the phone lines up to the water tower.
Right.
And then went out. We improved that by making it a page direct from dispatch and got rid of the phone line. We didn't find out we still had a phone line in there until we renovated City Hall, cut the phone line, and then we can't talk on the fire radios anymore. And we didn't realize that was still connected like that, so. But, I mean, I can't argue the cost. I thought that I put in there plenty of cost for that. I was wrong. But I got a reality check. I guess I was close. I think I put 70 as the max, but I didn't think we'd ever spend that much.
Is
Right.
this,
Thank you for the explanation.
I mean, basically right now, it's a garden shed. And we've had that same garden shed for years, and there's been radio equipment in there for years. We insulated it because the radios were overheating. I put a window air conditioner on the side of it. We've tried to make little fixes, but it's all just, we're making a silk purse out of sow's ear. I mean, it's still 1950s steel garden shed that the bugs are, that whole thing just layer of bugs. And that's why the woodpecker holes in it, because they can hear the bugs. They go after after the bugs. And you said you do have a paging system, so you know when it's running on generator, when it's lost power. Yeah, when we do have we had an issue earlier this year where a radio got turned off. We actually it was a programming issue that when the generator didn't start for PD, it was like a slow start. The radios don't automatically come back on when the power comes on. They stayed off, and that was programmed to do that. It was a mistake in the programming. It should have said, oh, always go on when you get power. Well, it didn't. It stayed off. They figured out that the PD radio wasn't working, and they went in and turned it on, but didn't think to do the fire radio. So when they paged, it wasn't going anymore. And that's a bad deal. I mean, because that's our only way to get people going to a fire. And this was a fire. So once we figured that out, we also put in a battery backup in that building and in the PD. And it'll beep on the radio when it's on battery power. So we'll hear a little beep on that channel. So I've been trying to make this more robust. It was so rinky dink when I started, and it really hadn't improved all that much in 20 some years. Been trying to make little changes, but I mean, we try to make things as robust as we can, because if we do get hit with something or have another ice storm, those kind of things can wreak havoc.
is this other proposal for 4,800 in addition to?
There's a demolition proposal, and what I decided was I took the demolition all out of it because Rob didn't have it in his. Triangle did have it in theirs, so I just took it out to make them even.
So does that mean we're going to pay that in addition to?
I would say the fire department might be involved with it, some of that building. I mean, it may not be that tough. I might use it as a training session sometime. Run a dumpster for it, see how fast they can saw that thing into pieces. But there is some cable company or what are they, internet company?
Yeah, I think it's a quick call that we'll have to coordinate with them to get their stuff moved.
They've got some equipment in there, and I don't know if you can probably charge for rent for that. They'll pay for that.
So the difference in these two bids is $25,000. Legacy is 98,709.
Well, that was his first
That's
full-size
the
building
site,
that
the
had
same
everything in
size.
the RFP. And then he submitted one that was like, 'cause I gave him a max price of 70,000, and I about fell out of my chair when I get this $90-some thousand bid. So Rob submitted another one.
Right, but it's for a smaller building.
Yes, it's for a smaller building, 8 foot by 8 foot. It's crazy to me.
Right, so the comparable one is still $25,000 different.
And I think some of that is supply and demand, and whether they want to do the project or not. I don't know. I'm sure a lot goes into.
We
that.
don't do change orders, do we? That come in?
Well, that's the only issue. I have a long history with Rob doing city projects, and he always comes in under bid. We don't have a lot of change order issues. We have had issues in the past with Triangle about that. I've tried to get everything so we shouldn't have any, but I can foresee, but.
Well, I wouldn't recommend any.
Oh, I agree. I'll try to trim costs where I can, even after that, but, knowing Triangle, they're not gonna want to trim.
You
it
mean
off.
2,000, you better take 2,000 off somewhere.
There also isn't anything in there for whether you want to do a bond or builder's risk. I don't know how any of that works.
You just spend all your money.
I know, it seems like kind of waste of money. but
When do you think that they start on this?
They said that both of them, I think, were 60 days, but I think that's probably pretty optimistic. a lot of the issue now is buying stuff. I know like both contractors are gonna use GK Smith for the heating, air, electric, all that, bonding and grounding, all that. But getting parts is an issue right now. And I know Kenny's like, yeah, because we talked about doing mini splits on that, just like a little hotel air conditioner kind of wall units. Those are hard to get now. So it's, well, can I get just window units? So we changed the spec to that. And that cuts some costs too. So it's just a little tiny building. Doesn't take a lot to, air conditioning. Really, it's air that we worry about. But hey, if it doesn't have any heat as much, I'm not worried. I let the technicians freeze in there. That's it's really like keeping them cold. They do not like hot. Radios don't like hot.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Triangle Builders to provide the design build services for the new communication building for an amount not to exceed $75,000 and authorize the necessary signatures.
I'll second.
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House. Shields.
Aye.
Okay, there we go. Minute reports, Trent.
Actually, I'll let Sid give you an update because I missed it.
We missed the
I
meeting.
missed
Oh,
the
my
meeting.
gosh,
I
okay.
missed the meeting. I was in another meeting, but I missed it.
Okay, oh, you're just too popular.
Is there any other council committee reports? I'll just go into my full spiel.
Oh,
I don't have a
okay.
whole lot. The Recreation Commission Task Force met yesterday, just basically kind of said, hey, the school passed the resolution, the city passed the resolution. All that information has been submitted to Miami County to get that question on the ballot. And then talked about, we've been working on a FAQ, frequently asked questions document that can then be posted. So people, when they have questions about that, it's educational about, how would this run, who would govern it, all that kind of stuff. And working on, I think, then there's making sure we have some educational stuff that's ready to go out there. So people can have that resource when they're having questions about it. So that's the main thing on the Recreation Task Force. I didn't include anything else on there, did I? I think that was about it. We did. It wasn't a whole lot, and mostly just kind of talking through some of that stuff. And then the kind of spending tool thing that we kind of previewed at work session. I sent you a link, and I think we're about ready to. I think tomorrow we'll have that up. Sites. Some of that pricing is already in flux, but we're kind of it is what it is, and it's more about kind of an exercise in scale of how you might put those pieces together. So that's about all I had.
Stephanie? Randy?
Well, Stephanie reminded me that the city of Lewisburg has challenged us to the Miami County Challenge Cup. And it's gonna be a softball and cornhole tournament with all the cities in the county on October 9th. I'll email everyone details if you would like to participate, that'd be fantastic. So once I have more details on time and everything, I'll let you
Was it
everyone
at
know.
Wallace Park?
It's at Lewis Young.
Where?
We played there last time. Now they need to come down over here to us.
Well, they're also gonna have Osawatomie and Spring Hill.
Which
So
we're
it's gonna
closer
be a
to.
tournament, yeah. They're gonna have food trucks and they're gonna make a big thing out of it, so.
There is
We
a
need help, so please sign up and play.
there is a championship belt
Belt.
that is available to the winner. So
We got the cup.
Well,
right, but we also want the belt.
yes,
Oh, okay.
I need that belt.
Randy will wear that every council meeting. next year.
I would, if we win, I would.
So
Randy
it's,
plays well enough,
what
she
is it
could do
again
that.
now?
So a couple years ago, we hosted a softball, Lewisburg hosted a softball game.
Okay,
And we played against each other. This year, Lewisburg is hosting it, but they invited all of the cities in the county. So we're gonna play against each other for this belt.
And in the past, did you win?
We
Yes,
did.
We did.
No,
Didn't you see the trophy at City Hall?
not really.
We
Oh,
moved
that
it
was
to
a
the
big
front when
trophy.
Lewisburg visits.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
anytime somebody from Lewisburg comes, it's usually.
And you have to pass, so you'll pass this trophy on if somebody
It's
else
not going
wins?
anywhere.
No, it ain't
It's
going
not going
anywhere.
anywhere.
This was the first one. This was,
Oh,
This is the
that's
inaugural.
right, we keep it.
So if you're to get a cornhole or not, or softball, please join. We would really appreciate your participation. That's all I have.
so did you guys play?
I didn't get to go.
Already
I did,
played?
though.
I
Did you
played.
already play?
No,
You played
well, but I
softball?
showed up. Yeah, I
Oh.
was a lot of encouragement.
You
You
played,
did great. You
play.
did
Yeah, I
great
did
already.
play.
Did you?
I did play. I taught.
Oh,
I yelled at the umpire. I yelled at the pitcher. yelled
You
at the
batted
batters,
too.
and I
You batted.
batted.
You did awesome.
I struggled to first base.
ah.
I did. I know, it's kind of irritating, wasn't it? There we are. Okay, is that everything?
That's all I have.
Hey, Lee,
No,
Harry?
We just received the community grant from Walmart to fund our third annual shop with the cop this holiday season.
Oh, good.
So
Good.
we will be doing that again this year.
Did they have a good turnout? Wasn't it Saturday? They did the cops for caught
The
out
car
there,
show?
the car show?
Yeah, they did.
I thought they did. Every time I was by there, it seemed to be a lot of people. I had a lot of good cars there.
They set it up pretty nice.
Went over well. Good. That was their first one. I'm glad it went well. That was nice of the Dodge dealership to do that. I know it's a lot of work to move all their vehicles to get the other
Yeah.
cars in. That was a chore in itself. So that was very kind of them to do that. Right?
Nothing to
Nope.
know.
Not this time. Okay, Dave?
Nothing nice.
Just thank you to the police department and fire department in light of the 9/11 anniversary. Thank you guys for all that you do. And just a brief acknowledgement, not to really to discuss it, but a brief acknowledgement of the emails that we received about the mask mandate requests. I replied to both of those. I don't know if anybody else did, and just basically said that based on the information that they had requested, a lot of it was focused on protecting the children. And my comment was, we're just gonna leave that up to the school board at this time, and they voted last night to keep it optional, so.
Good.
That's all I have.
Lee, do you have anything?
Just thanks to department heads and everyone for work on the budget. Again, I know that's always a tall task, especially right now, everything's so fluid. So thanks everybody for that.
Leanne?
No.
No. Well, the only thing I have too is a mask thing, and I brought things, I got letters. Can you believe it? I thought they took the time to write the letters.
Well, yeah,
I mean, so I brought a copy because it's got my name and city council on it. So I want you to each receive that.
how many letters did you get?
I got two. One of them was huge.
Well,
And,
are they these same letters that we got?
Yeah, one of them is like the one, I think
Yeah.
the one that went
It's the
to
same.
Stephanie at City Hall. But anyway, I appreciate them taking the time to do that, and I wanted to ask you if there was any interest in any discussion on that, or anything that you felt you needed to do, or response?
I feel like at least the information I've received is mostly concerned with schools, like Trent said, and the school district has probably even better information than I have in regards to the school district, so I'm gonna let them do what they feel they need to do for the school district.
With the increasing numbers, I would vote for it again if I thought it had a chance of passing, but obviously I know it doesn't have a chance of passing.
Well, and the health department just came out last week, 80% of Paola is vaccinated from what I saw. We have a very high,
Only 50% is of the county is,
yeah,
and they all shop here and stuff.
I wear my mask.
No,
yeah.
we're gonna be dealing with this for the next 20, 30 years.
Well, I won't be around to see it.
Well, it's not.
So there you
going
are.
away.
But I'd like to be here every one of them days that I can. I don't want to check out
It's not-
early.
it's not going away.
Be around that and break the hell out of all of you. So there we are. Okay, and that's all I have, and we do have an executive session, which is to discuss matters under attorney-client privilege. Do we have a motion for this?
15 minutes.
This
15?
first one,
Well, it's transition. I gotta think about transition over and transition back.
Oh, you better go for 30. I got a lot to say.
well, we have two,
Oh, we have two. Oh, okay.
A and B.
A and B, well, I don't know which I've been.
17 minutes. 2 minutes of travel time.
Which one's first?
Yeah, travel.
The attorney-client privilege is the first one, and I think 15 minutes should be.
Okay.
If we go, or do we have to quit?
We'll come back in here.
You have to come back in.
Back in.
And do it again. Yeah,
Do we have to quit?
So
it's a good incentive, 7:10.
Okay.
I move city council recess into executive session for 15 minutes pursuant to.
I move.
Have a good evening.
Client
everybody.
privilege, KSA 75-4319B2. The purpose of the executive session is to discuss legal matters considered privilege under the attorney-client relationship, and shall include mayor, council, city attorney, city manager, and assistant city manager. We will reconvene in the municipal courtroom at 7:11. 7:11.
I'll second.
That's pretty precise.
Snail,
Aye.
Upshaw,
Aye.
House,
Aye.
Shields.
Okay. Run.
Now we gotta get it.
Now we have to travel.
Yeah.
Run, Forrest, run.
Right.
Well, you can, but I'm only scared I'll drop it somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody else or something.
It's pretty sorry, I got sidetracked.
Proud of you.
Had one job.
Are you sure that we don't have to sit down in our chairs?
Oh, no.
If you were to-
I'm not tired here.
If you don't mind.
Oh, we have to.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I got it.
This one will be long.
Oh, sorry.
I guess you do. Okay, now then,
I'll make a motion to reconvene the recessed meeting.
I'll second.
Woo, Smale.
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House.
I
Shield.
aye.
All right. Now, how much time do we need?
We're gonna do 30 minutes.
30. Okay,
12 after, so we can do 7:42.
it might take you 1 minute to read all this stuff.
Okay, 7:42. All right. I move city council recess into executive session for 30 minutes pursuant to the preliminary discussion of the acquisition of real property. KSA 75-4319B6. The purpose of the executive session is to discuss the possible acquisition of real property and shall include the mayor, council, city attorney, city manager, and assistant city manager. The regular meeting shall reconvene in municipal courtroom at 7:43.
Second.
Smale.
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House.
Aye.
Shield.
Aye.
I feel like we just did this.
I'm coming. I need to talk to Eric. I'll be in.
Okay.
You don't need me for this one, Mayor.
All
You
right.
can, you can start. Well, oh, it's who? Yeah. Well, this is harmless. Who owns this? Okay, well, because I'd like to borrow. Okay. So I started with Sheila, and she goes, oh, no, I did not. You gotta talk to the chief. I go, okay, I'll talk to the chief. In my mind, I have senior class president. My 50-year class got canceled last year because of COVID. So now we're set for 2 Saturdays from now. But COVID's worse now than it was then, but I don't.
It's a good situation.
They've had, I don't know, they've had so many people respond and send in money, and I think, anyway, I think they're gonna happen. So I was gonna ask you, or whoever I need to ask, you, the city manager, if I could borrow that, because I need to stand there and speak and talk to him. I know it sounds goofy, but I just thought it would add a little class with the thing. But I didn't know if, I mean, I can put it in the back of the Tahoe, and I really only need it. It's on a Saturday night, so. You know what I mean? Special deals for the city attorney or whatever, what's he doing? Well, I'll be fine.
Oh, there we go.
Roll light.
Yeah.
No shorts allowed.
Let's have
So
the
what
next
she
meeting
would
real
do
quick.
to it?
Well, she throws
Oh,
them
yeah,
out. They
yeah.
make them sit out there and wait.
So what do you end up doing? They didn't send him to jail.
Well, I can't remember.
Well, they didn't send him to jail because he went and got a haircut and got a job at Arby's. That's a lady in the car with me, was a manager at Arby's, and he got to talking to her, they like what happened. She told him to apply for a job,
I don't
and
even know
he's
if I can
working
write
out
that.
there.
All I gotta know is the D and the S. That's all we gotta
Is
write.
it 7:43?
Okay, find my name here.
Yes, perfect.
Oh, wait.
I guess I can write that small.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, it's your pen.
Oh, thank you. Top line on both.
Oh, Steel City pen.
I tried to, apparently.
Get this done too. Another one.
So could we have another meeting in a week?
I can't.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of look at the calendar and make sure that,
I can't in a week, but I can in 2 weeks, the 28th. If everybody else, but if everybody else is the
Going
21st.
on another vacation?
No, I have a different meeting next Tuesday,
Oh,
and they won't do it without me, so.
Well,
we could do it on a different day too.
is it a church meeting? What do you
Every
do?
time I go, well, I'm gonna be honest, somebody else wants to do the financials. No, we'll move the meeting. Yeah, we can do it on another night. I would be available.
All right.
a different
Yeah,
night.
it doesn't have to be a Tuesday.
7:43?
7:42.
Will we go back into session? I mean, into the meeting. We never did do that, did we?
Yeah, we did last time.
No, I meant just now.
Oh,
no,
not
we
yet.
haven't.
We'll wait for a minute.
We're waiting until we can officially go back in.
Did you all get signed up now to go to the ball game? October 4th,
October 9th,
or not?
6th.
6th?
Lewisburg, the 9th.
9.
No, I just showed up the 4th.
We have, I have a meeting that day.
What night, what day is
It's a
it?
Saturday.
All right, reconvene.
Okay, make a motion to reconvene the recess meeting.
Second.
Hale.
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
Now we need a motion for adjournment.
Yes, please.
Make a motion.
Motion that we adjourn our meeting.
I'll second.
Hale.
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.